My brain works faster and has greater processing power than the world's best supercomputers. I have the most efficient working brain in the world. Complex mental tasks are easy for me. I have the brain of a person who got the highest maximum score on all IQ tests with ease. My brain has a structure, wiring, chemistry, and consistency typical for the brains of geniuses. Brain scans prove that my brain has workings and functions typical for the brains of geniuses. Brain scans show that I have the same brain activity patterns as geniuses. My brain solves tasks the same way as the brains of geniuses, using the same areas to solve the same task. Scientists confirm that my brain shares all common traits found in the brains of the greatest geniuses of all time, from its structure, circuitry, size, and consistency to its chemical processes. My brain has every feature the intelligence of the greatest geniuses of all times is attributed to. The appearance of my brain's structure under the microscope closely resembles the brain structure of prime Leonardo da Vinci, Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein, and William James Sidis. Scientists are amazed at how perfect my brain is. My brain has all the anatomical distinctions that correlate with extremely high intelligence. I have the quintessential genius brain. My brain possesses all the features neuroscientists associate with extremely high intelligence. My brain is wired in a way that is the most advantageous for all types of cognitive challenges. I have the perfect brain size, organization, and structure for absolute peak human intelligence. I am proven to have a much better cognitive performance, higher processing rates, and a higher intelligence level than the smartest Nobel Prize-winning scientist to ever exist. My brain power is beyond belief. My brain's computing and processing power is absurdly high. The areas of my brain involved in processing, reasoning, and memorizing improve drastically. I have highly efficient, developed parts of the brain for logical thinking and spatial reasoning. I have all the additive intelligence genes resulting in the highest intellect humanly possible. All my genes that are linked with an extremely high intellect are activated and fully expressed. My DNA is that of a record-breaking prodigy from a long line of exclusively genius ancestors. I have healthy and efficiently working astrocytes, glial cells that support the neurons, improve my nervous system repair, metabolic support of neurons, and neurotransmitter recycling. My brain has an increased number of healthy, efficient glial cells per neuron, especially in the left inferior parietal area of the brain, a region associated with mathematical thinking. My myelin sheath is healthy and perfectly covers the nerve fibers and insulates the axons. I have larger axon diameter. Axons with larger diameter have less internal resistance, which raises the speed of the action potentials and helps maintain the strength of the impulses. I have larger pyramidal neurons in the outer layer of the brain that withstand fast electric signals, which leads to higher speed of signal transmission during neuronal activity. I have more complex, longer, larger dendrites with a higher amount of branches. I have lower neurite density in the frontal and parietal lobe, which enables neurons to arrange themselves into more efficient patterns with low neurite orientation dispersion. My brain has lean, yet efficiently connected synapses, exactly like the brains of geniuses. I have optimally sparse, more efficiently connected synapses in the upper layer of the brain. My brain has increased gyrification, which means I have increased folding on the brain's outer layer and more intricate folds on the outer layer to help my brain pack in a larger surface. I have a higher amount of optimally dense neuron mini-columns in my frontal cortex. The molecular components in the transmitting nerve cell that trigger the synaptic impulses move closer together, which leads to an increased release of neurotransmitters, which leads to faster transmission of information at the synapses and a higher axonal transmission speed. My brain networks have higher entropy, as in I have more diversely, divergently, and efficiently connected networks, thus more possible combinations of brain network connections. Thanks to my complex neural networks, my brain can access a very high amount of neural states and configurations, which leads to more divergent, creative, and inventive thinking. I have an increased volume of gray matter in the frontal and parietal regions, which improves my brain's computing and processing abilities and helps me excel at solving isolated tasks. My brain has an enlarged, thicker outer layer in the frontal, temporal, and parietal lobe. I have a higher volume of effectively connected, active white matter, which increases interconnectivity between my processing centers and helps with integrating information. My white matter has an increased structural organization and higher tissue integrity, which improves the efficiency and speed of brain communications with its various regions. I have a larger, enhanced anterior cingulate, which helps me with attention allocation. I have an increased cortical thickness in areas of the association cortex in both hemispheres. I have a larger hippocampus with an increased, enhanced white matter circuitry connecting it to other parts of the brain, which improves my memory and drastically increases its capacity. My brain regions are associated with the cognitive processing of task-relevant information. The anterior insula and cingulate cortex are more tightly and actively connected to other functional areas of the brain, which helps my brain extremely efficiently process task-relevant information. Clusters of network nodes in my frontal and parietal cortex are more strongly interconnected. My temporoparietal junction is less connected to other parts of the brain, which helps my brain easily discern between useless and useful details, pick out the useful information, shield thoughts against irrelevant information, and think clearly without getting distracted. I have increased neuroplasticity in the places in the brain that have to do with memory, and places where memories get organized for recall, such as the hippocampus and temporal lobe. The regions of my brain linked to storing memories have high neuroplasticity, as in an increased ability to form and reorganize synaptic connections in response to learning and experience, and form strengthened neuronal synapses, which enhances my long-term memory. I have a genetic mutation known as photographic memory that heightens my long-term potentiation to hold on to memories, which results in more images being instantly stored at first sight as sensory memories and then long-term memories available for immediate recall. My memory capacity is infinite. I can always efficiently store information in my brain. My hypothalamus forms stronger synapses, which leads to a vast improvement in my memory. I have fewer dopamine receptors in my thalamus, which leads me to consider more information from sensory centers, and this helps me see unusual solutions to problems. I have fewer dopamine receptors in the thalamus, and fewer sensory signal inhabitants